This is a case study question. It says that an organism A which cannot move from one place to another place, right, makes a simple food B, has to be glucose. Anyway, further from this substance C and D available in the environment. So clearly A is what? A has to be a plant. Only plants can make their own food and plants make glucose, right? In the simple food in the presence of carbon dioxide and water. So I can write over here, right? So what is A here? A is plant and B is what we identify glucose. Glucose and C is carbon dioxide. Well, when we talk about the order could be opposite also. Let's say if I write carbon dioxide first and D is going to be what? And D is water. So this is H2 and O H2O. Well, it could be opposite C and D because they haven't told the order. Right. We don't know which one is carbon dioxide. They can be suffered also. As we read the question, we'll get to know. Further, it says that the food is made in the presence of green colored substance E present in the organ F. So what should say in the presence of light. Okay, let's figure out this part only. I can see that green colored substance E has to be chlorophyll. So we can write E first. E is chlorophyll here. That is CHLOROPHY. I think is correct. And next is D. Now D is what? Chloroplast or leaf? Is an organ, so it should be F. Should be it's not D. F, right? F has to be chloroplast. So this is F is chloroplast. Now I should read about the other part. Now in the presence of light in the process G. So G is clearly photosynthesis, right? So G is photosynthesis and so many. Now some of the compound B, so some of the glucose also gets converted into a complex H for the storage. As you know that reserve form of food in case of plant, because whatever they make glucose, they don't immediately consume it, keep it for the future. So it's a starch. In case of animal, it is glycogen, right? In case of plant, it is starch. Now, I think we're done. Uh, the food H gives blue-black color with the iodine solution. So this is definitely starch. Now, more part we have to identify it. I think we have done all of them, right? In each of the following situation, what happens to the rate of G? And what is G here? What is G? G is the rate of photosynthesis. I mean, G is photosynthesis, number one in a cloudy days. So in a cloudy days, as you know that there is less sunlight and therefore the rate of photosynthesis will go down. There's another part. Stomata gets blocked due to dust. So obviously here also the rate of photosynthesis will decrease. As you know, blocking of stomata will prevent the plant for the easier diffusion of gases. So the rate of diffusion of gases will decrease, carbon dioxide intake will be less, transpiration will be less, and that's the reason. Now we have to explain what is that last part. I can see explain the mechanism of G. So you'll have to talk about the steps involved in photosynthesis. That is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll molecules. Number two is what? Conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. And last one is the third step is reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. Well, this much is there. So we are given the diagram over here that's about endocrine glands locations and what we have to identify these ABCD as the gland and also have to list their function. So let's begin with the first one. A, as I can see, is what? Pituitary gland, and what it does, it secretes growth hormones, right? And we can say that the gigantism and dwarfism, right? are controlled by this A. Now the B I can see is a thyroid gland that secretes thyroxine hormones. And what's the role of thyroxine hormone is for the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and protein. The next C I can see is a pair of gland that's present over the kidney, has to be endocrine gland. Sorry, what that's called adrenal glands that secretes adrenal hormones. And what's the role of adrenal hormones? It regulates the heartbeat. We call them as fight and flight hormones. We also known as stress hormone because it helps during this stress. And D is kidney. I think there is some error. It should be till here because we are not looking into the organ as such glands. So has to be. Although pancreas is a organ, but what we need to find out is the one which endocrine gland. So I can see this is pancreas, and pancreas secretes what? Pancreas, as for endocrine gland part concerned, although it's a dual organ, it has other roles also, but as for this context we should say it secretes the hormone. And what's the name of the hormone? Insulin, that regulates the level of sugar in the blood. The E part I can see is a pair of ovary, I mean as a ovaries you should say. And as for the function, it secretes some hormones called estrogen, and that helps in regulating the secondary sexual character in case of girl. And this is testes, and testes secrete what? Testosterone. And what it does, similar to the above, it also regulate the secondary sexual character in case of boy. So we can say that, or male we can say. We have also listed the function. So in the above circuit, if the current reading in the ammeter A is 2A, well, don't get confused. It's not 2 times A, it is 2 ampere, right? What would be the value of R1? This is what R1, you have to get the value of R1. I think I should magnify this. The value of R1 is what we have to get. Now, first, what we will do that, as you can see, these three resistors are connected in parallel. So if I find the equivalent resistance of this, I'll use the symbol R dash, right? So it'd be what? 1 by R1, say R1 is R1, plus 1 by R2, this, that is 1 by 10, plus 1 by R3, that is 1 over 5. That results to give you how much? Well, the calculation is going to be like this only. It's going to be 10R, right? LCM will be 10R1. So this will be what? 10, right? Should be 10, and this is R1, and this would give you how much? 2 times R1. Now, if I reciprocate it, so it's going to be R 10 times R1, reciprocating, right? So this is how much? This is 10 plus clubbing these together is 3 times R1. So we got the resistance till here. Now, as you can see, the other two resistors, that is these two, are connected in series with this also, right? You should see that if I wipe out these portions, then you see current does not flow in this or this resistor. So therefore, clearly now I can say these two resistors are connected in series with the equivalent resistance of these. So that means I can say that the total resistance in this circuit should come as what? 6 plus 6. 6 plus 6 plus this. So I can write directly that is 12 plus 10 times R1 over 10 plus 3 times R1. This is the total resistance of this circuit. And now I'm going to apply the formula, that is we know the current over here and the potential difference. So I can find the resistance. Once again, this time the resistance I'll apply V is equal to IR. So R is equal to V over I, right? V over I. So it's going to be what? How much is V? 30. So this is 30 over 2. That comes out to be 15 ohm. Now in the next part, I'm going to equate these two. That means from here, I'm going to equate these two. So let's say if I equate, because these are the total resistance of the circuit, one in case of this, another is this. So I can work out here only. Yeah. So this is, I'll say 12 plus 10 times R1 over 10 plus 3 times R1 is equal to 15. So if I transpose this 12 on the other side, what we are getting here, that is 10 times R1 over 30 plus, I think I can shift it a bit above. Yeah, 3 times R1 should give you, this is 15 minus 12, right? On transposing is 3. Now we can do cross multiplication. So let me make some space over here. Now for further working, what I'm going to do is to do cross multiplication over here. So you can see that this is 10 times R1 should give you 30 plus 9 times R1, and keeping R1 on one side, 10 minus 9 is what? 1. So R1 comes out to be 30 ohm. Well, this should be the answer. This is what they asked to calculate the resistance of this. The question is, with the help of a labeled diagram, show the path followed by a narrow beam of monochromatic. Well, you should know monochromatic means a light of single color can be obtained by sodium when it passes through the glass prism. So it's a case of a glass prism. So we make a glass prism like a triangle over here, and we'll make an incident ray. This is monochromatic light. That's an incident ray. And then what you need to do is to bend this light. So it should bend towards normal. Well, it is necessary to make the normal first. I'll make the normal over here. This is the normal in this case, and the ray of light will bend towards normal. So it will be something like this. Yeah. And then it will emerge out of the glass prism bending away from normal. And the normal once again will be the at the interface of these two. And we need to show that the undeviated, I mean, we need to also need to show that the path of the light, right? Let me show it properly. It should be shown by a broken line like this. And we need to produce this ray backward also, this ray backward, again indicated by dotted line. Now, further, we need to also show that this is the angle of deviation. This is the angle of incidence, showing with an arrow sign. This is the angle made by the incident with normal, and this is the angle made by the refracted ray with the normal, this being this one. This one is the angle of emergence, and this is the angle of deviation. Well, this I can mark as the angle of prism. So these are the things we have to mark. Now, if I read the further, it says what would happen if the beam of light is replaced. Sorry, here this beam is replaced by a narrow beam of white light. Well, in that case, you have to show dispersion taking place, right? That means splitting of light into its component color. So what you'll be doing, you'll be making multiple emergent ray like this. Not multiple, 7 of them, right? 7 of them like this. And in that case, you have to write down. I'll make how many? 4, say 5, 6, and all that you will make. I'll just write on. You'll writing Vibgyor, right? That's Vibgyor. That's violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. That's what need to be made in this second part. In this question, it says an organic compound X on heating with concentrated H2SO4 forms Y, which on addition of one molecule of hydrogen in the presence of a nickel forms Z. So I think you must have got the hint over here that whatever is that organic compound on heating with highly concentrated gives Y. So clearly it's dehydration of alcohol. So that is C2H5OH in the presence of hot concentrated sulfuric acid, right? Results to give what? Ethene. So this is ethene here. Right. And what is released is this is a dehydration reaction. So water is released in this reaction. So we got X here, right? So this is what? X. Yes, X is what we have to identify in the first go. Then the compound formed is Y. So we have also got Y here. This is, oh, sorry. Wait. We have to find organic compound X on heating. So X is alcohol, right? This is alcohol. And Y is ethene, right? This is ethene. Now, as I read further, it says that Y on addition reaction with one molecule of hydrogen gives Z. So the next reaction is what? Ethene, as you know, it's C2H5, sorry, C2H4, one molecule of hydrogen in the presence of a nickel or palladium, right? These two catalysts, this is what? Hydrogenation in which hydrogen is added. So C2H6. So we got Z as well. This is Z. This is Z. Now, we have more parts over here. Let's read further. It says one molecule of Z on combustion gives carbon dioxide, water. Well, this is, we have already got the answer. Anyway, I'll write this. They are talking about the combustion, as you know, hydrocarbon, when burns to give what? Carbon dioxide, water, and heat. So these are the product formed over here. Now, as I can see that we have to write down the chemical equation for us. So that's why these three are needed over here. In this question, we can see that there are four test tube here and a student performed these activity, right? This experiment. Now, based on the above or this experiment, in which of the test tube or tubes no reaction occurred, and we have to tell the reason as well. So what you can see that here silver is put into hydrochloric acid. We know that silver is below hydrogen in the activity series, so it cannot displace hydrogen from the hydrochloric acid. So no reaction will take place in this case. So we'll say that no reaction will take place in this case. The next one is copper is put into ferrous sulfate solution, right? The copper is less reactive than iron. Therefore, copper cannot displace iron from its sulfate solution. So again, this reaction is also not possible. The second one over here. The third one, if I see that aluminum reacts with copper sulfate. Clearly, aluminum is more reactive than copper, so the reaction will take place here. So we'll say that in this case, aluminum will displace copper. So this reaction will take place. Look into the last one. Here, Au, that is gold, is dissolved in silver nitrate solution. You know that Au, gold, is less reactive below silver in the activity series. So again, this reaction will not take place. And I told you the reason in each case. Now, if I read, it says arrange the given metals in the increasing order of reactivity. So from least reactive to most reactive. So it should be what? Gold is least reactive as for the in this X activity, not universally. Ag is the next reactive, and after Ag it is copper, that is Cu, and next to copper is aluminum. So this is what the increasing, let me see once again. Yeah, it's increasing order of their reactivity. Now, this question says for the same angle of incidence in medium A, B, C, the angle of refraction are given as 20, 30, and 40. I think, let's say if I should make a diagram in order to understand better, I'll take three mediums. Say this is medium A, medium B, and medium C. And what do we see that when the rays of light entering from, I should make the normal in each case first to understand better. This is the normal at the point of refraction, right? To refracting surface, normal at refracting. Now I'll check same angle of incidence in all three cases. And now I'm going to make the angle of refraction in three different cases. The first, you can see that it is very close to the you can see the angle of refraction, right? So it is very close to the normal. Then the other one, let's say the second one, as I can see, if I use the red color, red ink, it is bending but lesser. And the last one, let's see, if I use green over here, then in this case, it is bending towards normal but comparatively less. So this is bends the most, then this, and then this. So you know that bending will takes place more if the refractive index of the second medium is higher. So we can say from here that this will has the maximum optical density. But let's check what is the question. First of all, I'll say that the first one will has the maximum optical density, and the last one will have the minimum optical density with the decreasing order of optical density. As you can see, I have just marked them with decreasing order of optical density. But then let's read the question. It says which of the medium will have the velocity of light maximum? Yeah, that's opposite, right? We know that lower the refractive index, higher is the lower the refractive index, higher is the speed of light. So we can see that the optical density or the refractive index of medium C is least, right? As you can see, it's least, and therefore the velocity of light will be maximum in this case. One more time, as far the refractive index is concerned, you should know that the higher the angle of refraction, more the angle of refraction, in that case, lower is the refractive index. And lower the refractive index, high is the velocity of light. So this is what you should write in the reason also. So in this assertion reason based question, it says assertion says transpiration is necessary able. So what we know, what is transpiration? It is the loss of water through the aerial part of the tree, right? Or the plant. So it is necessary. First of all, it should be enable because plants get deprived of water. This way, it has to lose water. But you should know that it is necessary because it helps the plant to move the minerals and the water. Minerals dissolved in water, right? Water and the minerals dissolved in the water. Plant won't be able to take out minerals from the soil if there is no transpiration. Moreover, you should know that it also helps the plant maintain the temperature, right? So that's the reason why we should say that. I mean, plant can survive in a hot conditions because of transpiration, as transpiration causes cooling. So if I read the reason, I can see that it is correct because it causes. Reason says it causes, that is, transpiration causes water loss, but helps in the absorption and upward movement of water and the minerals. So we should go for option A in this case. In this assertion reason based question, the assertion says Mandel selected pea plants for his experiments. And that is true because for studying the genetics and the variations, Mandel chose pea plants, garden pea. Now, the reason is pea plant is self pollinating with short lifespan and bears visible character. Well, there were many reasons why he took pea plant. Not only because it was ordinarily it is self-pollinating. Ordinarily it is self-pollinating, but it can also be cross-pollinated. Yes, it has a short life and has visible contrasting characters. That was the major reason why he wanted to experiment with the pea plants. So I think it should be both of them are correct, and it should be the correct explanation as well. So therefore, we will go for option A in this case, where assertion is true, reason is true, and assertion is the correct explanation. Sorry, reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. We are given a diagram that shows the human respiratory system, and what we have to find out, what are X, Y, Z here. Now check, let me highlight in this first. I can see the first if I write, if I go for up from above, W is what? W is larynx, right? That is the beginning of the, what you can say that the beginning of the respiratory tract over here. This is larynx, and so therefore, okay, let's move to the next part also. What is X here? X is ending here, that is rings of cartilage. So X is rings of cartilage, and rings of cartilage is X over here, thus. And next is Y. Y is terminating over, I think it's over here. So it should be bronchioles, and Z should be bronchus, right? This is bronchus gets branched into bronchioles. So that means Z is bronchus and Y is bronchioles. Yeah. So therefore D is the correct option in this case. In this question, you can see that the table shows the formula, right? This is the formula of three organic compounds that belongs to the same homologous series, and what we have to figure out. As you can see below, we are given the general formula, right? And we have to figure out what is the general formula of this compound. So for that, what you are going to do is to cross check by placing the number of carbon. I can see there are two carbon. So replacing N with 2, let's say if I place N as 2 here, what I'll get C2H. Replacing N as 2 here, this is 6 and oxygen 1. I can see it is true as of now. Now we'll cross check this also. Now I can see there are 3 carbon over here. So let's place N as 3 and H is what? 3 into 2, 6 plus 2, 8 and O. Let's cross check if hydrogen should be 8. So it's yeah, I can see this is 3, 3, 6 and 2, 8. We will figure out the last one as well. So when I place carbon as 3 in this formula, I'm getting hydrogen as what? 3 into 2, 6 plus 2, 8. Okay, sorry, this time it is 4, right? I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have to place 4 carbon over here. When I place 4 carbon, I can see hydrogen will come as 4 into 2, 8 plus 2, that is 10, and oxygen 1. Now when I cross check 3 to 5 to 7 plus 3, that's correct. That's coming 10, and oxygen I can see is 1. So we'll say that therefore this is the correct answer. If it were not correct, then we would have cross checked by placing N as 1, 2 and 3, and if it is satisfying all three formulas, then we'll say that is correct.